It is me, your favorite actor, the Hollywood assassin Marc Chouen, for another episode of Hollywood's Corner, presented to you by Shot of Wrestling. Today's guest, he's been on the show before. First time we're having a recurring guest here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Brother Greatness. Brother Greatness, welcome back. I'm surprised you came back to the show, honestly. I know the history between us. You wanted this.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to do a recap. Definitely wanted to, after everything that was discussed last time, be able to follow up and see how the growth and maturity of Brother Greatness came from an individual who's not the biggest fan of myself.
Well, listen, I have to tell you, you've been winning me over quite a bit. I've been interacting on your social media pages. Usually it's to be a troll, but now I'm singing praises, man. I'm all for it. I see what you're doing out there. You're posting a lot more than you have before, I have to say. So you up your game with social media, but you're also up your game in the ring, the attitude, everything. You follow through what you said last time. Last time we talked about a character shift. Tell us, man, how's that been going for you?
Yeah, honestly, it's been very difficult. It costs money. It takes a lot of time. As I mentioned, everything I do in the ring requires me to sit down and really think things through. Why am I doing this? What's the response going to be? And everything I've been doing for the most part, I think it's been coming out more or less the way I want it to, with the light section of the entrances. I definitely want to switch things up with that a little bit more.
Why is that?
I have a lot of options right now. I have a lot of good options. I have 2 theme songs. Well, technically 3 that I've absolutely fallen in love with. Because I've made a change, the congregation as a tag team has kind of been updated as well. And although we haven't had a lot of work together yet, we started using a song that we only used once previously called After the Pain. And it still is very gospel, but it hits a little bit harder, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
And I've been considering using that by myself as well. I have a song that was created by Wong Toon's Music, a remixed version of a song that he had called Champion, which is definitely very hip hop. And if you hear the lyrics, it definitely gives the exact feeling of what I want people to understand I'm all about right now. All about victory in the name of the Lord and trying to be a champion in every place that I enter. Having no fear, etc. But you don't really hear lyrics when an entrance is happening.
Got it.
The final song that was brought to me from one of my students was Andy Mineo, who's a great rapper who's Christian, named Not Today Satan, which has been on almost all of my Instagram stories as of late, and connects very well with the jeans jacket that says Not Today Satan on the back, and connects a lot with the new look, the new feel, the message I'm trying to portray. It's all there in that song in the first 3 words. And you don't have to hear any other lyrics, you know what it's all about. So that's been the challenge lately.
I love your mindset with this. You do approach this as a business, because I remember when I interviewed you during the pandemic, just during the regular segment for Shot of Wrestling, we were talking about your music and the psychological effect they had going into it, as far as why you chose that song and how it affects the crowd and all that, and how it affects your brand. And you're having the same approach here with this. The whole Not Today Satan, very catchy. Very, very catchy. And it works.
Rhino loved it.
Who's that?
I said Rhino loved it. He saw it on the jacket and he was like, that's great. We need that. We need more of that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, you talk about your message. I feel like it's very similar to what you were doing before, your message yourself, but everything has changed as far as the attitude, the approach, and everything like that. How have the fans responded to it?
It's been all over the gamut. See, what happened before, the old Brother Greatness, as I mentioned, was extremely digestible. I wanted to be kid-friendly. It wasn't for your 18 to 35-year-old male. It was pretty much for everyone else, the kids, the women, the older people. That's what that character was for, the family-friendly audience, your BWFs, your IWAs, those people who used to bring in the local neighborhood, and they come and watch a great show, and they love it. And honestly, I also thought it's what if the WWE ever cared about me, that this is what they would want to see, someone who's wrestling that TV style and focusing on those target demographics as opposed to the general 18 to 35 that's going to come to watch your product anyway. I'm there to give you the people who are going to buy merchandise, and they typically do. Moreover, these are the people who are going to actually listen to the message I'm trying to portray and take it on in their daily lives. The old people just click with it usually, like the older generation. Younger people, it's not what they're hearing anymore in media. They're not hearing, listen, you can live a Christ-focused life or a good, positive, centered lifestyle that doesn't require all these extra things and components to be happy and legitimately be happy. They don't get that anymore. I'm offering it in a way that's easy to digest and easy to get behind. At least that's what I was doing before. Now I'm trying to take the message and just bring it out to that 18 to 35 male demographic for, to be completely honest, extremely selfish reasons. And I feel like you can see it in everything that I'm doing, the way I'm talking to you even now, the way I've been posting, the way I've been opening up about my mental health struggles, the way I've been opening up about my struggles in my faith, the heel turn that I've had in Test of Strength. Everything that I've been doing at this point is just screaming, hey, listen, life is difficult. It's what it is. And we all struggle. I struggle too. And you know what? I'm inviting you to that struggle. I'm inviting you to all of it. I'm opening up to you now. It's up to you to decide when you see another man struggle, what are you going to learn from that? Because I'm not putting it out for my health. I'm literally hoping that people connect to that, at least that 18 to 35 demographic, so they can say, you know what? I'm struggling too, but here's what I can do instead of A, B, and C. Maybe I can do, D, E, F, and G. Maybe I can, when I'm feeling bad, try to be positive to someone else so that they feel good at least. How can I build up my own life? How can I change? How can I be better? And I'm trying to bring that out through drop kicks and arm drags. So that's always fun.
So my last guest on here was Chris Barton, and he went through an evolution as well with his character, and he feels like he's more himself than ever, and he's having a lot more fun. Is that going on with you right now? Are we feeling? Is this a sense of? Sorry to break the character here, but we're seeing Brother Greatness. But is this a sense of Brad in here as well?
Yeah, Brad. Here's the thing: Brad's in both of these. Brad was in the old Brother Greatness. Brad's in the new Brother Greatness. I tell my students at T to T, the first step to determining character is A, understanding yourself, and then B, turning up the entertaining parts to an 11. So every version of Brother Greatness is a version of me, especially with a character that's literally directly connected to my faith, for better or worse. The old Brother Greatness was way more fun for me. It was the most genuine version of what I am around a group of people. If you've ever been around me, I know me and you've never gone to karaoke or anything like that. It's not our relationship. It's what it is.
I would like to do that, though. I would like to do that.
Listen, if you're down to sing Hamilton, I'll sing it with you. All right, I'll do Jerry Theodosia all day, all night. That's my song.
I'm more of a Les Mis guy, but I'm down to rock.
I'll do Les Mis. I'm okay with Les Mis. Just the opener. But my entire point being, the old Brother Greatness was way more fun. It was like a party. It was like I was at song service when I was a kid, and the choir would come out 20 minutes later than they're supposed to because it was an old small church, and they just go, our God is an awesome God. And we're all dancing and having a great time, and it was awesome. This is more the Brad that my friends see one-on-one. The conversationalist, the person who's asking the deeper questions, the person who's overly quoting Alan Watts and graduation speeches and what's the purpose of what we're doing? Why do we care? Why should we live? What are the reasons for life? If we're struggling for the idea of why we're around and you can't think of it in a religious sense, it has to be secular. Why are we doing that? And really getting deep into all that. And it's not fun. I'm not enjoying this process. I don't like it. I know. I'm the opposite of Barton right now. I'm not having fun doing this.
So then why?
This is a shift. It's a selfish shift for three reasons. One, I feel like this is the version of the message that the demographic I'm focusing on is going to pick up on faster. They're not picking up on the happiness, the positivity, and the colors. They pick up on the doom and gloom and the hard hits and the realities of life. I'm finding and I'm still working on it, obviously.
Right.
This is what I'm thinking they might pick up on. And the deeper I get with it, the more I'm realizing what kind of works and what kind of doesn't. The second thing, this version of Brother Greatness requires a change in the ring, which has been extremely difficult, but it's hard hitting. It's violent. It's me cracking you in the head as hard as I possibly can. That is not wrestling. That is a shoot. Anyone who's wrestled me recently, with the exception of Slade, because I was not hitting that man the way I needed to. But I've been cracking people in the mouth. I have been tiring people out purposefully. I've been performing spots in the ring that I could always do, that I never felt the need to do because they weren't necessary. And I understand that this version of greatness needs to do that. And the third reason, all of that is the stuff that these uppity indie promoters that are actually making the money right now want to see. And that's what they're going to get. They're going to get it the way that I present it. I'm not going to change my character. I'm not going to give up my belief system. I'm not going to stop being myself for an extra $10 for a little bit of extra clout. I'm not going to do that to be on Fight TV. I'm not going to do that to be on IWTV. And I'm not going to do that to make people more comfortable about the fact that I love Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, Jehovah Jireh, my provider, Jehovah Nisi, God with me. I'm not going to let anyone sit down and rip that away from me because they have their own agenda or because it's not cool right now to be a Christian. I'm going to show everyone how you can tell different stories within your own faith and within your own love of Christ and with your own persona without having to make a change, while still being a good person, while still being a person that can talk to different groups and sex, whether it has something to do with gender, sexual orientation, mentalities, nationality, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can still have that connection with each and every one of these individuals and still be true to yourself. And I'm waiting for individuals to pick it up, and slowly but surely it's been getting picked up, because since our last conversation, I've worked Texas, I've worked Michigan, like I've worked West Virginia, I worked at Limitless Pro Wrestling, I was at Christian Wrestling Federation, I've worked at Pizza Party 3 times. We're just waiting for the footage to come out. The third time is actually August 7th. I've gone heel. I've gone hard on my school. I'm about to open a second one. I've been going absolutely bonkers. And there's a lot of promoters who still straight up don't see it or don't want to see it, and that's up to them. But I'm going to keep pushing, and the results are going to show themselves by hook or by crook. I'm not having fun doing this. This is all an assignment that I'm fulfilling.
Man, that was some passion. You've always been good on the mic, Brother Greatness, but this is you. I feel like this is like years of frustration out here, and the process itself. I understand when you're going through a brand shift, it can be frustrating. I definitely understand that. I've struggled with that myself. So I do want to touch on something like here with this. And I do love the fact that you're keeping it real. You're keeping it very real about the process, about who you are in character. And I feel like that blends together. And it definitely works with the heel stuff too, that I'm sure that you're doing. Now, as a Christian, and you talk about, meshing with all these different groups of people here. I feel like nowadays, and we're going to get a little personal here. I'm a Christian myself, so okay. I feel like nowadays, with the environment is as contentious as it is now. I'm talking about the real world stuff. When they hear Christian, when they hear that message, I feel like it gets viewed a certain way right now. That you're not progressive, or you're not necessarily pro this, or you're not necessarily pro that, because of these values that are perceived. But here you are, you're talking about still that togetherness, but keeping it with your faith. Have you had to have those difficult conversations with fans or in the locker room? Like, how has that been? Like, how do you keep that going?
Yeah, for years, literally since, I don't want to say since the beginning in 2012, but since my return when I started wrestling again, like that 2017 area code. I'd work a show, and you get two halves of it. I get people who walk up to me and just say, you know what, listen, I've been struggling with my faith. The last thing I thought was that somebody would connect with me at a wrestling show. We fall down, but we get back up. I scream that out every time I take a loss. No, face or heel, I find a way to get it in there. And I'll always make it make sense, but I'm always going to get that message out when I lose. When I win, it's not me. It's the Lord, and you'll be surprised on how often there's like one person out of 100 that goes, huh? And then they come and talk to me, and like, I don't know how many stories I've heard about people who overcame cancer, overcame suicidal ideations, overcame all this just stuff.
Right.
Like, I was in Texas last weekend, and a guy walked up to me, and this is an all Christian show. Like, there's gents named the Bishop and Jesus Freak out there. I am far from the only person there that's putting their religion out there. That's the entire promotion. And the guy walks up to me, and we did a whole, they did a whole prayer thing at the end. I know I'm not answering the question technically anymore, but he straight up You know, he's telling me about the time he almost committed suicide and how like he's so happy he did it for a whole list of reasons. And we're sitting there and we're just chopping it up. So there's that good half. And there's the other half where like, obviously right now, you said progressive. People hear Christianity and they straight up think, oh, this guy has a problem with the LGBTQ community.
Right.
Straight up.
Right.
Straight up. I'm not going to dance around it. People straight up be like, oh, yeah, you have a problem with that. They might not say it to my face. They'll say it to people that I'm cool with, who will then tell me later, like, hey, listen, people weren't comfortable with you being here just screaming, praise the Lord. Because
people make assumptions. They make assumptions.
Immediately assume. And I don't know how many times I've had to sit down and explain. And I spend so much more time around just secular people than I do around people of faith, especially since COVID, because I haven't been physically in a church since COVID. I've been watching church on YouTube. And I miss so many services because of wrestling things on Sundays. Like, I am so not where I need to be spiritually at this moment at all. And the closest thing I've had to that was CWF this past weekend, which is why I kept posting how much I loved it, because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't there defending my faith. I was there with people who were like, have you been doing your devotionals with your girlfriend? You must be a leader spiritually in your relationship. And I'm like, I haven't heard somebody say something like that. Like,
right.
Hitting with very just on point stuff. But like, we'll talk about LGBTQ issues, and you know, I literally work in a school with MV Young, you know, the polyam king, you know,
face and of LGBTQ wrestling right there.
Literally. And then and Logan Black, who recently came out publicly, what was about 3 months ago or what have you. And we have a very inclusive school. We have a lot of people in the LGBTQ community. And I've literally sat down and had, like, after my students became comfortable with me, understand how I am, they'll say a joke here or there or a comment. And I'll literally like grab people to the side and be like, no, let's talk about it. Where are you? Where do you stand when it comes to the LGBTQ community? The Bible is very, very straightforward. And there's different versions of the same translation about the fact that in biblically, homosexuality is seen as a negative thing. There's a lot of different translations for it, blah, blah, blah. Everyone could Google the text and find it on their local Bible app. Have fun. I'm not your pastor. I'm just a brother. But what people seem to miss is the amount of other, and I'm not even talking about the mixed fabrics and stuff, the other sexual sins that are discussed in the Bible. Having sex before marriage.
Right.
I mean, I shouldn't even have to keep going after that, because everyone has screwed that up. I attempted celibacy for years. I failed. It's what it is. I messed that up way more than I should. And I don't see myself fixing it, because we are sinful people. What happened to not judging others? We all, like, why is everyone throwing stones with their private parts in somebody else's without a ring on a finger? Or the individuals who get married within 50 days just so that they can get to that point.
Wow.
But the institution of marriage is supposed to be way deeper than that, because you're supposed to have a certain connection that's going to take more than 50 or 60 days for you to acquire what you need to do to actually be married within the confines of the Lord and the confines of the text.
Right.
But no, I put a ring on it, so it's okay. No, you still failed. And even if you're not failing sexually, you're failing in some way. Everyone is coming up short. So stop doing a rally over the fact that people want to have sex with each other. I don't care if you're a man that wants to have sex with a man, if you want to cut your penis off, if you want to identify as a woman and you just want the general respect that comes with that. If you tell me right now, Brad, I feel as though I'm a woman, please call me a woman. I don't give a damn. Cool. Okay, miss, that's not a problem. I don't care. I do not care. You are living your life. That's between you, your family, and God. And I do not mean that in a you're going to hell kind of way. I literally mean that's between you, your family, and God. If you drink a glass of water right now, that's between you, your family, and God. I do not care. Now, if you come up to me and say, Brad, straightforward, is being gay a sin biblically? Yes, but what is sin? Sin isn't a bad thing. It's anything that separates you from God. God is a jealous God. So anything that isn't specifically love to God is considered a sin. Anything that you're doing to serve only you, it doesn't service God, is actively a sin. And there's so many things that list that out, and it's a long conversation. And the easiest thing for people to do is say, oh, Brad's a Christian, he hates gay people. I'm like, wow, you're stupid. Cool.
Well, you know what? I think touching on that, and I loved what you said, because it's so true. But I feel like we live in a world where everything's generalized. If
it's black and white.
everything's literally black and white, there's no shades of gray, and I feel like. And I feel like, I think that's great what you said. And I think a lot of people can relate with that. And I never took you to be that person like, oh, gays are going to hell. Never took you as that person. But there are plenty of Christians out there that are like that. Now, for you to say something like that, for you to say that, do you find it hard with people of your faith as well? Do they question what you say? You're kind of getting it from both ends here then.
Yeah, I don't win. And that's how I know that I've formed my own opinion based on the knowledge that I've gathered thus far. Because when I talk to Christians and homosexuality comes up, it's never a fun conversation.
No.
Because they're just like, nope, it's not right. They shouldn't. Like when I'm talking the hardcore, like they deserve no rights kind of Christian, I'm just like, false. And they're like, but the institution of marriage. I'm like, the institution of marriage within the confines of the church, not within the confines of secular society where you don't have to be married within the confines of Catholicism or any Christian religion. So you're still wrong because marriage isn't something that's supposed to be connected from a man and a woman. Marriage is literally a legal contract. You could do this with, technically we go really far with it. Technically do with any goddamn living being you want, but let's keep it a little chill here. Like you could do it with any other person you want. That's what marriage is in the secular sense. You shouldn't be that emotionally invested. And then people will get mad at me because now they think, oh, Brad is a Christian that is trying to lean to trying to pander. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to pander, because everyone on both ends of the spectrum don't like my opinion. No,
but listen, I feel like though you are using logic, which seems to be lacking in today's world nowadays.
Yeah, everything's emotion.
Yeah, listen, you can be both. You can be progressive and be religious at the same time. Yeah. It's not necessarily one or the other, and I think we're really getting on like world issues right now, but I think a lot of people need to understand that, and I think the fact you're not hesitating, you're staying true to yourself. These are your values. Take me or leave me. And honestly, I think that's the same with everyone. Listen, they're going to love you, they're going to hate you, they're going to agree with you, they're not going to agree with you. So be it. But that's who you are, and I love it. Now, you talked about being a trainer, right? And you're opening a second school?
Yeah. Yes and no. I'm still working on the details. So test the strength. What am I saying? I'm working for them on Sunday, so they're top of mind. T to T, technique to training. Myself, Jake Gomez, MB Young, and Tom Frazier, who runs IWW. We Industrial World Wrestling. We all came together and opened up this school near the tail end of the pandemic, near the end of August. Started putting all the things together. It was very difficult. And it was a dream that I've always had to do when I was 40 to help run a school. And I haven't hit 30 yet. And here we are almost a year into the school. I absolutely love it. Jake is the head trainer because obviously he has way more experience than me. He's worked in London and he's honestly phenomenal. He's been phenomenal to work with. I know he is not beloved by everyone. And that's fine. It's what it is. He's been great to me. He's been great to my students, and I've enjoyed every second I've worked with him. A lot of people are going to be mad hearing that. Don't care. I've had a really good time with him. The same way as if there's some people I run with, I won't say names, that Jake's not a big fan of. And I'm just like, I hear you. It's what it is.
You got to respect that, though. You got to respect, just because
and I've got no problems with it. Once I say hey, listen, as long as the biggest thing is if you listen to people and take their points and hear why they're telling you things. If someone's crapping on someone for giggles, I'm going to get annoyed. If you're getting on someone because you're concerned for my well-being or for somebody else's well-being and you feel as though I should know, you can say the worst things you want about my best of friends. And I'll be like, you know what? Whether I agree or not, thank you, because I know why you're telling me this. You're telling me this because you are concerned for me. Therefore, we're good. It's not my job to change your opinion. It's my job to take you for who you are, take other people who they are, and still be intelligent enough to gather information.
But at the same time, just because one person has beef with someone, like your relationship could be completely different with that other person. Like
Yeah.
it's between two people. Like, oh, I hate this person, so you have to hate them too. I was like, no, stop. I feel like you see that a lot in wrestling, actually.
Yeah, you do. But one thing I'll give so far, and I'm running around with almost everybody. Tom always jokes around. It's like I'm friends with too many people. But it's like I get along with everyone, and that's very difficult. Not the getting along part, just the, oh, you're okay with that person. Well, did he know this? Did he know that? And I'm just like, 9 times out of 10, I usually have that information already. I'm like, this is the part where me being a Christian should kick in, where it's like, I'm not gonna judge you. This is between you and God.
Right.
Like this has nothing to do with moi. Now, if you cross certain lines, like it's like, oh, this man's a certified killer. He's killed 5 people and he's going back to jail next week. I'm like, maybe I should leave you alone. But outside of something pretty extreme, we should probably, like, this person, like, whatever. I'm not gonna get too deep because there's enough stories in wrestling that we could dive through.
Totally.
Issue by issue. We'll be here for days. But the school has been fantastic. I love training people. I like training people more than I like working shows, more than I like working on my own character. Absolutely love it. The second school just worked out because I was in Coliseum a lot. One of the managers saw me and said, hey, listen, man, I love the way you train people. I love the way you were training. I brought one of my students over there. We got a little extra time in, which I try not to do too often. But I was like, yeah, whatever. You want an extra couple hours? I don't care. I have free time and stuff. He loved the way I was just working. And he's just like, yeah, come on down. He offered me some times. I was like, oh, wow, making money in wrestling? That doesn't happen. So I said, you know what, I'll get something going Tuesdays and Thursdays at Coliseum, 8 to 10, make a very small class. I'm not going to do any posters. I'm not going to advertise it. I wasn't even planning to bring it up during this, honestly.
I asked the questions.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's going to be very tight-knit. I don't want it to be a whole thing. I don't want anyone's opinion about me training people because he's a younger worker, doesn't have enough match experience. He didn't work London. He's never been signed, blah, blah, blah. And all those valid points, not going to take away from any of that. But at the end of the day, I care so much about people that what I do have to offer, I'm going to give it to you.
But you know what, though? I feel like there are some people, like, you can be like the best in the world at what you do, and you could still be a pretty crappy teacher. I think those are two different things, and I'm not saying you're bad at wrestling. I think you're a fantastic wrestler. I think you're amazing what you do in the ring. I've always said so on and off the air. But I've seen you behind the scenes. I've seen you work pre-matches at BWF events and whatnot, and it seems like a lot of the talent, especially the younger talent, they came to you for advice. They came to you for your opinion. You really enjoyed helping others there. So this is not a surprise for me, I should say. Like to see you opening up a school, and I think that's kick ass that you're opening it so much earlier than you anticipated to do. And like I think that basically what I'm getting at here is like, listen, you want to be a wrestler. I think Brother Greatness, he has a lot to offer here because he knows character, he knows branding, and he knows what to do inside the ring. And the man can cut a promo if you weren't watching before. My God.
that definitely wasn't a promo.
It wasn't a promo, but hell, that was a shoot, my man. So cheers to you, man. Congratulations on all that you're doing. Again, I could talk to you more all day about this, but I have to edit this thing. So
Fair enough. Yeah, I gave you a lot, but honestly, like if anyone's listening to this, like, and they're interested in schools, honestly, look at T2T first. There's 3 great trainers, a great establishment, a beautiful location, a reasonable price.
Where is it?
That's in Brooklyn. It's I always get the number wrong. Is it 67 Shoals Street? Something like that, Shoals Street. But yeah, you just look up Technique to Training Gym, and that'll be the location. So easy to find. We have a bunch of students, but we're still taking more. I usually take care of the beginners, and then they spread into the regular group. So if you're looking for a school, there's a lot of great schools. Hog is still, in my opinion, the best school you get to by transit. Foundation? No, Fallout. Yeah,
I was talking to Mike Law about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're growing great. Masha's amazing. Steve's great. Mike is great. But T2T, we have a special culture there. And if you're one of those people who struggled at other schools, I think T2T is a great culture. What I'm offering on the side at Coliseum is honestly just like, hey, you're trying to have a small little group. nothing too crazy. You're just trying to get better at wrestling. You're not looking for all these like crazy connections. You just want to get better at the basics, and you want me to do it for you for whatever reason. Cool. I'm that's it. I'm not trying to overly promote myself. You have so many better options out there in terms of schools. This is very niche. Like, if you want what I have to offer specifically, come on down. It's not a big sales move. I'm trying to make money, but I'm really trying to keep it a small group, 10 to 20 guys. Once I hit 20 guys, I'm stopping. Like, you're not welcome anymore. I'm sorry. Like, I'm really wanting to be tight-knit, small. I'm not trying to get people 1,000 bookings, which I should be, but I'm not for that school. I'm really just trying to help you be better at wrestling and let you move on. So if you find that you've been struggling for years and you want to step your game up, I got you. If you're new and you have whatever emotional issues and you're one of the people say don't belong in wrestling, come on down. Let's see if that's true. That's all.
Boom. There it is. Brother Greatness, thank you so much for coming on the show again. You are more than welcome to come back anytime, hoping for that 3-peat on here. And for everyone else, thank you for joining Hollywood's Corner. You can check out Shot of Wrestling every Monday, where we talk about wrestling shows, events, you name it, we talk about it. It is on every single platform where you listen to your podcast. So listen in on Mondays. Until next time, Hollywood is out.